Oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've done a vlog from the Pink Cadillac. Here we are, driving to career conference. Woo! And I thought, hey, let's talk about conferences, right? You guys, I gotta tell you first off, coolest thing, I always talk about the Cadillac, right? Like, it is so cool. I can't even describe it to you. The feeling of driving this car across a couple states to go to a conference because along the way, I'll have like people with Mary Kay stickers in their cars going to the same place or other, Mary Kay cars, and they're like, hey, you can always tell that they're trying to see whose Pink Cadillac it is. Don't worry, I have my name on the back. So people always know it's me, but yeah, it's so cool and just the comfort of it and that type of thing. So, I love it. I love it. I want you to have one too. And it's, if you've watched any number of my videos, you guys, it's that consistency. It's new faces take you places. It's working full circle, building a strong team, all the things that I always talk about. Fun story, I'm actually requalifying for a new Cadillac as we speak. So that's kind of awesome. Yeah, so I'll earn that by the end of June, so that will be, I think, my sixth Pink Cadillac and the 11th car. So that's kind of cool. All right, so today I made little notes even. I was like, oh, I don't want to miss anything good. And I live in Minneapolis, well, south of Minneapolis, not really in Minneapolis, but south of it, and I am currently going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is quite a jaunt. It's almost 6 hours. So, got lots of time to just chit chat away. So, I want to talk about, since the theme of this vlog is just like, come to a conference with me. Hold on, it is like kind of cold in here. There we go. I want to talk about that. Like, how do you do a conference well? This isn't so much a vlog about like why you should go to conferences because I wholeheartedly believe in the fact that the bigger your goals are, the more that you are going to need to get your cup filled up, because I don't care who you are and where you live, when we deal with the public and just like people all the time, they're the best and sometimes not so much the best part of what we do. We deal with a lot of situations and a lot of heavy and a lot of hard things. You've got to go to conferences to get your cup filled up. It's not even so much, I think sometimes we get confused that it's supposed to be about training. And I think there's an aspect of that. Like, you're going to go to a conference and hear a really great idea, but I think it's more about being in the energy of the space of other women who are doing the same thing as you, who have confidence, because just sheerly through osmosis, you are going to absorb some of their confidence too. So I think it has more to do with that than it does, just like getting training. Because quite frankly, the reason you're on my YouTube channel is for training, sometimes inspo, but mostly training, right? So I think it's more about just getting that feeling. And maybe it's like someone says something to you in the bathroom line that just kind of like snaps you out of a funk that you're in. I mean, you just don't even know, right? So let's talk about how to do that well, because if you're going to spend the money and spend the time and get away from your kids, I mean, I'm not going to lie, that part, at least for this conference, oh my gosh, I don't know about you guys. I think it's the spring weather, but my kids are just being really extra lately. So I'm like, yeah, this isn't such a bad little day and a half, break for mom. So I'm into that. But okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about in doing, sorry, I'm at this like intersection right now. You want to do a conference well, it is all about protecting your energy and protecting your energy. Okay, so we're gonna spend a little bit of time here, and there's gonna be, I'm gonna move over here because now there's some weird shadows in my car. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so let's talk about protecting your energy. That means in all aspects of the conference. Okay, so it's the obvious things like Who are you rooming with? Okay, I have found that who a person is rooming with can either make or break a conference moment. Like you could be poised to have a moment, a transformational moment, whatever you want to call it, but because you roomed with the wrong people, it's not. And what I mean by the wrong people, people who are in a really not a good spot, like not, it's not that it has nothing to do with a bad spot with their business, because we all get in those, right? It's like maybe they're just really, really negative, or they're going through something that is just kind of making their attitude a little less desirable, that kind of thing. It's not that they're going through hard things, that's okay, but like, it's that kind of negative energy. um, or maybe they don't want to be at the conference, or they're half in or whatever, like that kind of stuff can make or break your conference. So that would be my first suggestion, is who are you rooming with? And even though you're not in the room a lot, I mean, you guys, sometimes you got to think about it too in terms of your physical needs, right? Like, for example, I cannot, I cannot room with someone who snores even a little bit. I am like, it's not you, it's me. Okay. I am the lightest sleeper. Like, I cannot even tell you, I can hear my kids whispering in their bedrooms. Like, I'm just like, any kind of noise, my brain just like latches onto it. And snoring is not a steady or consistent noise. And so it's up and down. And so my brain just can't stop wanting to murder the person in the bed next to me, because I just cannot not focus on the snoring. So I just know me, and I can't room with someone who snores. So I always make sure that I ask, because a tired Emily is not a person you want to hang around. I'm just going to be, I'm totally just being honest and know myself. Like, a tired Emily is not an Emily you want to know. Oh my gosh. So that would be, oh my gosh. Okay, we got tractors. We got all kinds of stuff going on today in this drive. Okay, so that would be the first thing. But then also, who are you sitting by at the conference? Like, sometimes, again, someone's energy can totally affect that. And um, who are you riding with or flying with on the car ride over? So if you haven't noticed, I'm in the car by myself, and I debated and debated. I'm like, oh, do I want to ride with someone? It's almost a 6-hour drive, which isn't that bad. I mean, I drive all the time, so it's like, suck it up, buttercup. But it's like, do I want to ride with people? Do I not? And you got to know yourself. Like, I'm mega introvert. People do not know this about me, but I'm an introvert. And so, like, I get my energy from being alone. And so I was just thinking about it. And it's like, oh my gosh, if I was in the car with my consultants, it would be really good. I love them to pieces. Like, we'd probably have amazing conversations. And there is a time and a place for that. And sometimes I will do that. But I just know I would arrive to the conference already exhausted. So for me, like, what I really thought this week about, like, what do I need? And I need time in the car to think. Like, this is when I come up with all my really good ideas, is when I'm in the car by myself with lots of time on lots of windshield time, I call it. And so that's what I need in this particular moment in my business. I've been changing a lot of things around and gearing up for the next like segment of business. And so I don't think I'm done with that yet. And so this is going to be really good for me to just have that alone time, to kind of process that. So let's also talk about protecting. Okay, so we're talking about protecting your energy. Let's talk about protecting your budget. Da 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 da. Who wants to talk about money? Okay, I look really weird because I'm like in the shadows here, so you'll just have to ignore the weirdness and just listen. But let's talk about protecting your budget. So, you guys, I wholeheartedly believe in conferences, but I also believe in doing them in the smartest way financially possible. So, is it cheaper to drive versus fly, depending on the conference? Obviously, seminar. I've driven a seminar, I've flown to seminar. Maybe you live in a part of the country where driving isn't the thing for you. Well, then, if that's the case, what I like to do is I like to be a star consultant every quarter and then use my points. You can cash in your star consultant points for Tango gift cards, and I think they have one on Delta. They have one for Airbnb, and they have one for hotels.com. So a lot of times I'll use those, one of those three. I think they have Sun Country or something too, or Southwest. I don't know, one of those blue ones. And so I'll use that to either buy plane tickets, to get a hotel room. Like that to me is just really, really smart. So that would be one way you could save money. Rooming with more people saves money. Now, again, you've got to weigh that against. I decided about 5 years ago I can't do the 4 people in a room thing anymore, just because of my energy is like, to me, my energy is even more important sometimes than my money, right? Like in terms of, because I know that when I'm in the right energy, I can make more money. And so I only like to room with like 1, maybe 2 other people. But if you're a new consultant starting out, maybe 4 in a room. It'll save you money. I remember too, you guys, like my sister-in-law came to seminar and it was tight for her. So she packed like, she had sandwich stuff in her backpack that she carried on. Like she had meat and cheese and like made sandwiches, because it was like, it was important for her to get there, but it was not important for her to eat like super fancy while she was there. So I do believe there's a lot of ways. Like I always bring, like I got my, ladies, worry not, I brought my Diet Coke. It's in the car. So I brought my own Diet Coke, because you guys, even like buying a soda at a place sometimes is like $3 or $4. So it's like, well, or even stopping at a gas station, right? It's more expensive. So let's not do that to ourselves. I also love, a fun tip is, if I'm staying at a conference in a hotel, like it's more than one night, I will do grocery delivery to the hotel. So I'll get like a case of water. I'll get, Diet Coke. I'll get snacks. I'll get like breakfast bars or whatever if I'm flying and I can't have it in the car. So that's a great way to save some money too. And then I always get my roommate's order and we split it. And so yeah, I mean, there's lots of tips just to make it cheaper, but also make it more comfortable, which leads me to my third point. And this is kind of all under energy, if I'm being honest, because your money is energy, your energy is energy. And then the third thing is really being aware of your physical needs. Okay, because physical needs are a part of energy. So Maslow's triangle, right? Which is basically like at the top of the, if you've never heard of this, just Google Maslow's triangle. The top of the triangle, it's called self-actualizing moment. Okay, so if you imagine a triangle, right? Like up here is the self-actualizing moment. Along the bottom is like your most, I think it's the most basic physical needs, like food, water, shelter, and then as you go up the triangle, so basically the argument is a human being can't have a self-actualizing moment, which is at the top of the triangle, if the things at the bottom of the triangle are not being met. And so I always think about that with conferences too, like, how do I meet my physical needs? So again, we're back to, this is why I can't room with someone who snores. I know a lot of people do, and that's okay. Like like I said, it's me, it's not you, it's me, it's totally me. So that's me just taking care of my physical needs. I also know that I like to have my own blanket and pillow. I know it's like the 4th grade version of me, but it's back here somewhere. I got my blankie and I brought my pillow because I just sleep better with it. And you know what? I'm in the car, so I can bring my blanket and my pillow. That's like me taking care of a physical need. Maybe you're someone, I've kind of gotten like this lately where I'm cold all the time. Maybe you're cold all the time. Okay, well then it's going to be important for you to dress in a way that meets that physical need, because your number one goal is to get as close to, if not a self-actualizing moment as possible from a conference. So what physical needs need to be met? And if you have a team, or you're a director, or you're a consultant or a red jacket, or just anyone who has team members, and you've got team members coming to a conference for the very first time, friends, the best thing that you can do for someone is to help them with this piece. Meaning, if they've never been to seminar, if they've never been to career conference, and you have, you can do them such a big solid by saying, like doing a little Zoom with them and saying, this is this is what we do on each day. This is what we wear. This is, here's some tips. You might want to like get some snacks. We don't have a lot of time to eat this day, so you might want to do this. It's always cold in the arena, so bring a jacket. Like, I do a Zoom every year in July going over all that kind of stuff for seminar, because it seems like such a silly thing to do, but I'm telling you, everybody comes to seminar from my unit and they're like excited, they're happy, they know exactly what to expect, they know exactly what to wear. They know how to be comfortable, they know where they're supposed to be, they know what to do. And when you can reduce, it's the uncertainty reduction theory, right? Like when you can reduce uncertainty, human beings can do like amazing things, and they have more capacity to learn and more capacity to have that self-actualizing moment. So it's not a waste of your time. And she's not being silly for asking, quite frankly. Like, we can download a schedule on InTouch, but they don't give us the nitty gritty of like what it's actually like. Like, hey, you're going to be sitting a lot. Like, have you ever just said that to someone? Because I remember going to my first conference and I was like, holy guacamole, we sit a lot. Like, sometimes just like mentally preparing people for stuff like that just makes things so gosh darn smooth. So, okay, look at that. We have spent 17 minutes just about energy, but you guys, it's the most important thing when it comes to having a really, really good conference. Okay, so let's say we got all that taken care of. We got our physical needs met. We are protecting our energy. We're actually at the point where I am right now, which is we're in the car or we're on the plane, or, it's like leading up to the conference. What do I like to do? And so the first thing is um, really take a moment for yourself and pose a question to yourself, like, what do I want to get out of this conference? What do I need from this conference? Because, and there's a reason that this is important. I'll ask consultants this question all the time, and they'll say, oh, I just like everything. I just want to like get everything out of it. And it's like, okay, I get that. I want everything too. But if you pose a question or you give that some thought. So I honestly don't know yet because I just got in the car literally 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to be posing that question. That's what I'm going to use some of my 6-hour drive for, is what do I hope to glean from this? What am I looking for is another good way to word it, because again, it's that reticular activating system in our brain. It's like the reason why when you're pregnant, you're like, wow, there's pregnant people everywhere. I never noticed that before. Or, you buy a blue car, and prior to buying a blue car, you didn't think anyone had a blue car. Well, now that you have one, you're like, I see blue cars everywhere, right? So it's that same thing when you pose the question or you put the thing out there, like, I really hope to gain better skills on booking, or I really hope to just figure out how to set boundaries better in my family, or I don't know, whatever it is. A lot of times it finds you because you're looking for it, right? So again, it could be in the bathroom line, it could be anywhere, but it finds you because you're looking for it. So that would be a good, is what do you hope to gain? The other suggestion is don't skip things. Okay, I know this is like one of those like I'm mothering you things, but again, if you pose a question and there's a thing out there that you hope to gain or get from this, and you skip things, like, how do you know that the thing that you were looking for wasn't at the thing that you skipped? Plus, again, back to protecting your money and your energy, it's like the point of going isn't a vacation. The point of going, I mean, it could be a vacation mentally from what you normally do, but not a vacation. It's you're there to have a self-actualizing moment about whatever it is you need to have a self-actualizing moment about, right? So the other thing that I would suggest doing is in your notebook. People like to take notes. I like to have a section, you have a section where you're actually going to take notes on the classes, but then I like to kind of have two different pages. So one page is things I want to implement. Okay, so I just write at the top of a page, like things I want to implement. And then at the top of another page, I write down things for later. Okay, because one of the biggest mistakes that I believe, okay, totally Emily Schudy's opinion, you don't have to listen to me, but one of the mistakes that I've gotten really good at avoiding is hearing an idea and going, oh my gosh, that's an idea. Oh, got to change, got to do that idea, right? And it's okay every once in a while, but if you're just like changing ideas all the time, like one month you're doing this, next month you're doing that, a quarter from now you're doing this, some other thing. It's really, 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 add like 10 more reallys, hard for your consultants to follow you because they don't even know what you're doing. And quite frankly, if you're switching ideas that often, you're not giving time for any one idea to work all that well, right? Like it takes time to master something, to get good at something, to do something well. And so I'm not someone who gets, conference, what is it, like conference shiny penny syndrome at a conference where I'm like, well, this person is successful and she's doing this, so I have to do this, and this person is successful and she's doing this. You guys, sometimes it has, actually not sometimes, correction, all of the time, like even the ideas that you learn from me, it's not that the idea itself is like the best idea you've ever heard. It's that the idea supports me working in my strengths. And because of that, that's why I have success. We tend to tie the success to the idea. And I don't think that's always the right thing to do because it's proof how, you know, how somebody has like this really good idea and it made them $1 million director, and yet no one else became $1 million director as a result of that one idea. And again, it's because it's not the idea, it's because the idea supports working in someone's strengths. And um yeah, but every now and then there is an idea where I'm like, okay, that kind of already supports what I'm doing. That supports the mission I have in my business. And I'm actually looking for an idea in that arena at this point. So I'm going to look into this and possibly implement it. Now, you might hear other ideas. And if you really struggle with this, sometimes just writing them on paper, like this isn't for me now, but this could be for me later, I think will create space in your brain that would say, okay, I'm just saying no for now, but it doesn't mean that I'm completely going to ignore this idea. And you'll find if you get good at this and do this, oh my goodness, this Cadillac off-roads too. We're about to go on a gravel road here because I'm doing this thing where I'm avoiding this road closure. I love small town Minnesota. So we are, woohoo! We're on a gravel, like a really bad gravel road. I think is this the one I turn on? No, not that one. Next one. Okay, I'm going by memory. What could go wrong? So yeah, so no, ideas for later, because they could be for you later. They just aren't for you right now. Okay, I'm gonna say something. I always get nervous when I say stuff like this. Oh my gosh, there's like a cool little like schoolhouse out here. Um, because I sometimes think, Emily, you're so blunt sometimes, but you know what? My bluntness comes from my love for people and wanting them to get the most out of this opportunity and just, out of their money and out of their time and out of their energy, right? So, okay, I think that I would love to start a movement where we're all just like more present at conferences. Okay. So I will often sit behind people who are taping everything. And I often wonder, are you actually going to watch all that stuff that you're taping? Like, do you actually watch all of that again? Or do we feel like we have to tape it because we're going to miss something, right? Like, I don't know. And maybe that's the truth, but it's not wrong to tape. Like if it's a special moment, you're walking across stage, I'm all about that. But do we have to tape every class, every single thing? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's kind of different, but being present sometimes and just like sitting in the energy and noticing things around you versus like, I gotta get this reel, I've gotta get this photo, I've gotta, whatever. I think is really, really key because again, it's hard to have a self-actualizing moment when we're, in our cell phone the whole time. Or, the other thing I've observed too is I think it's important to set boundaries and communicate with people in your home before you come to a conference. Oh my gosh, there's like potholes. Okay, here we go. This Cadillac does it all. Um, because there's been times where people's kids or husbands or whoever are just constantly calling and constantly texting. And I get there could be like I'm not talking like the unique situation where somebody's sick and, you have to be by your phone to like catch something for it. I'm talking just like the day to day, like, where's Timmy's shoes? Where's this? How do I blah, blah, blah. So it's like, what do you need to set up in your home ahead of time? And my family knows, okay, and it does help. This is where I really believe bringing your partner to a conference is important because if for no other reason, they understand when they come how there literally is no free time. Like there is just no there just isn't. And not only is there not free time, there's mentally just not time to think about other things. Like I always think when I'm at a conference like, oh yeah, if I get a booking, I'll get the confirmation email. Oh no, it's like my brain gets into this like mental vacuum and I can't do it. So I just know that. And so it is helpful to bring your spouse because they understand that better going forward. So it's like I said goodbye to my husband and I said, look, you're not going to hear from me until tomorrow night because I'm going to be, as soon as I get there, it's going to be one thing after the other after the other. He's like, nope, yep, got it. I'll feed the cat. I'll blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's, writing things out. I'm notorious for writing out like when grandparents are watching our kids and we're on the top sales director trip or whatever, like I will write out, here's a sheet with meal ideas. Here's a sheet with, where they need to be when, here's a sheet for this, if you need this, here's the neighbor you can call for that. Like just writing everything out for people does make a big difference. But again, that's part of the energy of being in a conference and doing it well. And then the last thing I would say, in doing conferences well, is do not leave. Do not even get in the car or the airplane. So you haven't even technically left the conference yet, but it's like at the end, don't leave without an actionable to-do list. Because what is it? It's inspiration without action is just wishing, or I don't know, somebody has some saying about that. And there is some truth to that. And one thing I want to say too is I think when you're newer in the business or you are maybe not at a point yet in your business where you've had consistency for a long time and you're clear on where you want to be. Okay, so you don't quite have the clarity yet, and that's okay. I was there for a while. It's okay if you don't have clarity. But I think we have a tendency to ride the roller coaster of emotions of an event, right? Like we come off the event, we're like, pink bubble. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna like go from zero to Cadillac in like 2 weeks and it's gonna be amazing. And you're just like flying high with excitement, but with a high fly comes a high crash, right? And I'll never forget this, you guys. Gosh, this is probably 10 years ago. I went to a conference and I was seriously worried about this. Okay, so I'm gonna say this in case this has ever happened to you, or maybe this is you right now. I went and I didn't feel like, if this is like a constant state of emotion, okay, I didn't feel here. I also didn't feel here. I just felt here. And I remember thinking, like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm not flying high. I'm not, I don't feel that like magical, like unicorn feelings of whatever, like I'm going to conquer the world. But I also don't not feel them, but it's just like a level emotion. And I'm going to be honest, that's a really good place to be because it means that you are clear on what you want, you're clear on where you're going, you're clear on how to get it, and you're at the conference because maybe there's just a couple of pieces that you're looking for, or you're just looking for replacing your energy to continue to do what you know that you need to do. And so I don't want you to freak out like I did, because I was like, oh my gosh, does this mean that I'm not supposed to do this because I'm not like flying high as excited as everyone? No, 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 no. It just means that you are clear. You have clarity. It is clarity is the place to be. So it's not a bad thing, okay? So, but again, leaving that conference, if you are someone who tends to fly high, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love the people who like just come home and they're like, I'm gonna conquer the world. But okay, conquer the world in small actionable steps. So what is the thing you're gonna do? And then the other piece, okay, this is piece number 13. And I don't have this on my notes, but I just thought it up. The other piece is, if you want to be, I really kind of believe in this, okay? If you want to be a very successful sales director or higher up in the company, or you know what? I don't know that that's true. It could be at any level, okay? So if you're crushing it as a consultant doing like core to sales, you're crushing it, okay? Um, if you want to be able to do that, you've got to train yourself. And this kind of goes for vacations too, not just conferences, but you have got to train yourself to not get distracted leading up and when you come home. So for me, it's I'm working, doing my routine, doing my work until the day I leave. Okay, I'm not thinking about outfits for weeks. I'm not shopping on Amazon for weeks. Well, that's a lie. I'm definitely doing that. But like, I'm not, I find that like I won't even as a director, like for all the people I have for seminar, I won't make a Voxer group until 1 week before the event, because one year I made a Voxer group like a month and a half before seminar. It was the biggest mistake I ever made, because all my consultants were doing was talking about like the dresses they were going to wear and the outfits. And I'm like, you guys, we got like a month and a half before seminar. Like, let's book, you know? There's a time for that. And I love that piece of it, like the excitement of it. But so training yourself, because I find a lot of what, you know, puts a break in people's consistency is they'll go to these events and for like a week and a half before, they're super distracted with packing and what they're going to wear and their nails and their, you know, self tanner and all the blah, 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 all that stuff. And then they come home and then they're like so exhausted and I need to, you know, and then it's like, so it's literally like for someone going to seminar, it takes like 3 weeks out of their month just to do it. And you guys, you can't, like, if you want to maintain a consistent income, a consistent business, you've got to teach yourself, like, there's maybe schedule some time to figure out what you're wearing, but like, and I realize there's a reality there that has to happen, but it doesn't need to, you know, take over every waking moment. And then again, back to protecting our physical needs and our energy, you know, what is your behavior at the conference? How late are you staying up? And I get it, there's girlfriend time. I'm a human being. I like chatting with my bestie before we go to bed. But like, I've gotten better about like, okay, 1 o'clock or before, it's got to be bedtime. Like, I can't do this like super late night, early morning thing anymore. So, just being mindful of those things so that when you come home, it's not like another week of you trying to regroup from that. So, you guys, I'm so excited. Maybe I will, I don't know, we'll see. I might make a little more video on the way home from the conference. That could be fun. Just kind of telling you about it and whatnot, and I'll put that at the end of this video here. But hope you're excited about Career Conference if you're going. If you're not sure about going to seminar, you guys, seminar, go to seminar. Just go. Just go. Don't be afraid to bring your husband. This is actually the first year mine won't be coming in a very, very, very long time. Like, I think he's come the last 10 years in a row, and just we have some scheduling things, and because seminar got moved, he won't be able to come this year. But so many good things. It's a good investment. It's a good investment of your time, your money, and your energy to go to seminars. So anyway, it was fun driving with you. And like I said, I'll make a little video when we're all done. So